my agenda is. Let me define an agenda of today's session. I have to start discuss about API design.
Okay.
So we cover the basics of the Mule message processing. Okay, that's few fundamentals we covered. Now I want to discuss about the API design. This is also equally important. Okay.
Yep.
Today I will cover the basics of API design.
Okay.
And we come back to implementation, and we see the debug process, how to debug the Mule message processing. And we discuss about FVM component. Mule component in Mule message processing section. These two are related to implementation, and we will do in Anypoint Studio. This we do in the API design. Okay, so this is to this agenda.
Okay,
right?
nice.
Now, we need to design an API. We need to design the REST API for our integration. Okay. So, what is the basic usage, basic advantage if I expose my integration as an API? Amut, we discussed.
Yes. Yeah, so the purpose is that other applications can get to can have access or communicate to your application via online.
Excellent. So the client or the application which you want to access my API can have detailed information about my API. So the API design is a simple document. So what is tells is what are all the resources available in an API, and what are all the services my API provides, right? And for each, to access each service, what input the client has to pass, and after execution of that service, what output the API returns back to client, right? So that information is bundled inside the API, so that the client who want to access the API has a detailed information, what input he has to pass, what output he will get from the API. So all the information he has, therefore he can efficiently use our APIs, right?
Yeah.
This acts as a contract between service consumer and service provider, right? API works as a contract, right? If there is no contract, service consumer has no way to understand about the service provider, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, now that is the basic definition of API. Yeah. Now coming to our the REST API, let me show you some slides on that. So you know about the REST, right? REST is an architecture style based on web standards, right? Yeah. So we use HTTP protocol to implement the REST standard, right? And REST is a primary basic block. Sorry, a resource is a primary basic block in the REST standard. So what is the resource? You heard of resource, Ahmud?
Resource?
Resource, yeah. In the REST terminology, the resource. In the REST terminology, we always use the resources, right?
Okay.
So in the REST, very first step in the REST is we identify the resources.
Yeah.
Then you may ask, what is resource? First identify, they will say that very first step in REST implementation is REST API design is identify the resource. So resource is a real-time object, right? So I want to develop my something like HR API using for HR guys. I want to develop some API for HR. So here the real-time object is employee. For this application, employee is an object. What this HR API want to do is it want to create a new employee to the organization. If a new employee joins the organization, you want to create a new employee. And you want to generate the report on the employees. For that, HR application want to retrieve the already existing employees, right? Retrieve the information about the employees.
Yeah.
And you want to change some employee information. Some address got changed, whereas the employee designation got changed. The HR application want to update the employee.
Right. Update that.
Update the employee. When employee left the organization, this application want to remove that employee, delete the employee.
Delete. Right. It's correct.
Right. So my API, HR API want to do these operations. It want to create the new employees. We want to get the information about the employees. We want to update the employees and delete the employees. So here on what object it is working is, it is working on the object called employee object. Right? Employee is not a simple string or an integer, right? It is an object. It has some properties. Employee object has properties like employee has a name, employee might has employee number or employee ID,
Yeah.
and it has a designation. Some blah blah properties are there for each employee, right? So this is an object. It's not a simple string, right? Object. So this is called a resource. I call this as a resource.
Resource.
In the rest terminology. Okay, what is resource means? The real-time object that we want to create or we want to retrieve or we want to update or delete. So that object is called resource. Okay. So everything in the rest it is all about the revolve about the resources. First we need to identify the resource. So a resource is accessed via common interface based HTTP standard methods.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I want to create a new employee, I need to use some HTTP method to create a new employee. Then what method is appropriate to create a new employee? So to create a new employee, client has to post.
Yep.
The client who want to create a new employee, he has to post information about the employee. First, this is the employee name, employee number, that. Create this employee. That each message come to the REST API or REST application. Take this employee information and creates on the backend. Maybe store in the database, whatever, right? It creates the employee in the backend. So it takes the employee from the client. For that, the appropriate method is a post. Post only supports, right? Post has a body, so that in the body this message travels to the application, and application can able to create an employee. For that, to create, the appropriate method is a post method, the HTTP standard method.
Yeah.
Okay. Now sometimes the client want to see the employees information. Now the message flows from API back to client this way, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of request the client need to do is you need to do the request using get method.
Get method, yeah.
Right? Get means get the employee information from the application, right? So to retrieve, the appropriate method is the get method. On the resource, on the employee, if I apply get method, the client will retrieve information from application to the client console. Okay. If a client want to create a new employee, use the post method. In the post method, he posts the employee details on the employee resource, so that employee got created on the backend. Right?
Yeah.
So to update a specific employee, there is some employee called Hamoud. They want to update the specific employee. The client will pass the employee ID and what information you want to update, right?
Yeah.
But that the appropriate method is a put method.
Put method, yeah.
Right. So delete the employee. There is a delete method is there. These are HTTP standard methods.
Yeah.
Right. So on the resource, I will apply this standard method and I will develop the application. That's what here it's me. I will show you the demo also. Don't worry on that. Okay.
Yeah.
I will show you.
I really like how you lay it out.
Yeah.
So
Thank
there's
you.
a couple technology here.
Yeah.
In a REST API, then you deal with you would deal with the resources, right?
Correct. Yeah,
And the
exactly.
resources you say that are real-time objects
Correct.
that you want to interact with.
Correct.
And to do that, you use HTTP method.
Yeah.
Either to post when you're creating stuff.
Exactly.
To use a get method when you want to retrieve information. Is
excellent.
When you want to update it, you put. When you want to delete. When you delete the resources, or no, you're not really resources, but and so this thing that, for example, like say that if you are adding or getting stuff, is what is that you're doing? Is it we cannot say that we're adding resources, right? We cannot say that.
Yeah, we are creating resource on the backend.
On the backend. So
yeah.
I thought, for example, in this example, employee is the resources.
Exactly, employee resource.
But what we're adding is that a new employee information or updating information or deleting information.
Yeah.
The root of, we're not changing that, but we are changing what contains in the employee and I don't know, table or whatever.
Correct.
So what is
that?
What is that part that we are updating or deleting or posting or creating? Can we call it a resource or it has a different name?
Which one, Hamud?
So in your example, like the employee, right?
Right, employee, okay.
When you want to add new employee, you'll use a post method.
You want to create a new employee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Create new employee, use a post method, correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And when you want to update, you will use a put,
exactly.
retrieve, get.
Yeah.
So for example, like when we get and delete, maybe get is very straightforward.
Correct.
But when we posting and new employee inside the employee and object.
Right. Yeah.
What I'm thinking about it is that it's like a table called employee, right?
Exactly. Yes.
And inside the table, there's a columns and rows.
Employee rows, yeah.
That shows all the information about the employee.
Exactly.
So when we are inserting a new row, like a new person.
Correct.
So, and that's the one we adding or deleting or updating, but we're not touching the employee table, right? We're not changing the table, but we're changing the rows that inside the employee.
Yeah, that is on the implementation end, Hamud. So that is the next phase. We are not, we are still in the design phase itself.
I know.
Okay.
So all right.
So that's implementation. Your wish. You can use the backend as database, or you can store in inside a file. Whatever way you can implement the backend.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So now we focus on the design itself.
The design. Okay. All right. All right. I'm
that
getting
implementation. We do on the any point studio a little later.
Okay. Got it.
Right now we focus on the design. How we are designing this API. There is some. You want to develop some HR API where it's required to create a new employees, to retrieve employees, to update employees, and delete them. These are requirements required by the client. We need to do these methods. Okay. How a client can use your API and create a new methods on the backend, new employees on the backend, and how a client can retrieve the employees from the application, how you update. So all the stuff for that we need to design the API first.
Okay. Yep. You have to design first.
Yeah.
All right. I'm with you.
Yeah. For design purpose, we're discussing about how the API would be designed, what methods used to do what kind of operations. So that's the discussion happening now. Okay. I will show you the design. I will show you the ramen. Then you get an idea about how we are designing the API and what is the advantage of design. This is all the stuff. Okay. So at the time of implementation, your questions will be answered. Right? How we are doing that on the back end, how we are creating databases, how we are creating rows. That is all the implementation end, right?
Okay.
Now in this session, fully focus on the design phase itself. So the REST application deployed in server provides access to the resources, and the REST client access and modifies the resources. Here means REST application means we develop some kind of Mule application, we deploy to server so that it can provide that resource, whatever resource we designed. So in this case, employee resource, right?
Yeah.
So we develop a REST application based on the employee resource and we deploy to server so that it provides access to the employee resource. And in this case, the REST client is a postman. Using postman, you can access the employee resource and you can modify the employee also. So that's the vision.
By using, get method, get post and stuff.
These are estimated are get, post, put, delete method support for each resource, for your resource. Okay. This will discuss. Next thing is, okay, we discuss about the RAML. Now, to describe the REST API in the MuleSoft, it uses a language called RAML, RESTful API modeling language.
So to design
the REST API, yeah. RESTful is R. A stands for API, M stands for modeling, and L stands for language. So RESTful API modeling language, RAML is used to design REST API, describe the REST APIs. Okay.
REST.
Used to describe REST API. We will see how it is described the REST API. Okay. So in the MuleSoft designed something called deliver something called Anypoint platform. Let us show Anypoint platform. Anypoint platform is the complete infrastructure of the MuleSoft. And using the Anypoint platform, what we can do is we can design APIs. We can design new APIs. And we can develop APIs, develop or implement API. And we can deploy our API to different kinds of runtimes or servers. Like API, and we can share our APIs to different stakeholders, our external clients or internal teams, all those stuff. Share our APIs, and we can manage our APIs. We can apply different kind of security policies to our APIs so that they can secure different kinds of other policies also. That we discuss our policies in that section. We can manage APIs.
Okay.
So this Anypoint platform provides all these kind of features. So to design API, we have the design center in the Anypoint platform. I show the design center now to design API. We need a simple API. Okay. So what is the purpose of design center is design API, design center. I'm sorry. To design API, we have the design center. And to develop API, we used yesterday, right? What is the component used to develop APIs, Hamul?
Is a API Anypoint design, right?
Anypoint Studio. Used, right? Studio, yesterday you implemented simply an application, right? So where you have all the connectors, all the stuff. So using
that's
that,
what you develop. Okay, I see.
You can develop APIs.
Yeah, Anypoint Studio.
Studio is where we can develop APIs. And deploy APIs, we have the runtime manager. I'll show you the runtime manager. And locally also we can deploy API using Anypoint Studio. Also you can deploy API. Yesterday you deployed API and you showed me, right, from the postman. There you deployed API. Okay. And share API, there is something called Anypoint Exchange. Anypoint Exchange is a place where you can share your APIs. Like you develop the mobile applications and you put those applications in the Play Store or App Store so that other guys can able to download and can use, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, you can develop the Mule applications. So you can post an Anypoint Exchange so that other parties in the world, they can use your application also. Okay. Exchange is a place for sharing your APIs or applications. right?
Yeah.
And manage API, something called Anypoint Manager. So there are different components are available. These are all comprises called Anypoint platform. Platform components of design. You can design APIs, develop, deploy, share, manage. To do individual activities, we have separate components, some separate sections of this.
So
Yeah.
question here. So it looks like design API and deploy API and share API and manage API. All of that is done inside Anypoint platform.
Exactly. Yeah.
But developing API, you use the Anypoint Studio.
Yeah, it's also part of Anypoint platform. Should be also part of it.
Is it?
Yeah.
So the stuff that you have, like where we're designing the Mule, events stuff, that's not Anypoint platform.
Which one?
The one would be using, the tool that like Anypoint Studio.
This one.
That
yeah.
So this is not part of the Anypoint platform.
No, it is also part of Anypoint. If you go over here, right, anypoint.mulesoft.com. This is the where you create your MuleSoft account, right? Okay. If you sign into Anypoint platform, see, you landed into dashboard of Anypoint platform over here.
Yeah.
It's loading. 1 moment, please. It loads quite faster. This is see, this is dashboard of Anypoint platform, right? You can see the design center, you can see the exchange, you can see the Anypoint Studio right here.
Oh, Anypoint Studio there.
Anypoint Studio, Anypoint Exchange, Anypoint Design Center, and API Manager, Runtime Manager. These are all primary components of Anypoint platform.
I see. So the first one is where you're designing.
Yeah.
API. Yeah. The second one, Exchange, is where you share it.
Share your APIs.
The Anypoint Studio is where you develop. Is that right?
Correct. So that is the power of Anypoint platform. What MuleSoft do is they bunch all the components in one place and delivered as one single product.
And this owned by MuleSoft.
Yeah, this is owned by MuleSoft. Right?
Is it a cloud version of MuleSoft?
Is it? MuleSoft is company, right?
Yeah. So this is a cloud though. This is online.
This is a cloud version. Yeah. This is cloud only. This is cloud version.
And so there is no. I'm not asking we should do it, but that's only an option we have. There is no like a one we can install locally.
Yeah, local installation is also there. Some some clients like banking clients, they don't want to go over the cloud. They won't trust Anypoint. Sorry, MuleSoft. Right. They won't trust anybody. They want.
What do they have? So what do they have then?
Then they use the on-prem the backend systems, and they use some kind of VPC connectivity to the Anypoint. They can use like that, or there are several deployment options are available. In MuleSoft ships, right, is some kind of product purely on-prem. So they need you to deploy the MuleSoft itself, complete on-prem. Yeah.
So if that's the case,
yeah,
they will still use the Anypoint platform, but it will point into their
local
environment.
Yeah, correct.
But the design, everything here is the same.
Same, yeah, it's same, exactly same.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Based on the customer requirement, MuleSoft will ship that kind of product.
So they have to.
Yeah.
You have to purchase something for the MuleSoft, right, to get that thing set up.
Exactly. There are several deployment options available based on the customer deployment, requirement. They will provide such kind of deployment. You can go for the pure on-prem, pure local, or cloud, and there's some kind of hybrid requirement. Some components in the cloud and some components in the local. That is also possible. Okay. And you can deploy entirely in the cloud. That is also possible. So different options are available. based on the customer thing. Okay.
Requirement. That's right. Got it. I'm with you. Thank you.
Now, so this AnyPoint platform is comprises all these kinds of components together, so that if a customer gets the AnyPoint platform, he can design APIs over here. He can develop APIs using the AnyPoint platform, so the customer can deploy here. Okay, and he can exchange. He can access. He can put some access management, all the stuff in one product. Okay? Now we start the first step with the designing APIs. For that, I need to go to design center. Let's start designing. Got it. Now I want to design a very simple API. Now there is already employee APIs there over here. I want to create some kind of account API. Okay. So some customer API. Some customer I want to create, some bank want to create some new customers. Okay. So to create a customer API, I need to log in. After login, there is a button called create new. I need to click on the create new API. Okay. So create new. Yeah, there are different kinds of options are available. Right now, we focus on the API specification. We discuss the API fragment, new application. We discuss it later. I don't want to mess or discuss all the things one together. The very first step, I want to develop an API specification. Okay, API spec. So create new API spec. I need to give the spec name. I'm going to give the spec name as customer API. Create API spec. And creating API spec. So if you see over here, I need to describe my customer API using the RAML. That is the RAML file, right? So in the RAML, what the first thing I need to what is the first activity I need to do by designing API? Not forget about RAML. What is the first activity? I told you, right? If you want to develop any kind of API, what is the very first activity? What we do?
First step is you design an API.
Yeah.
Like a resource.
Right. So for me, I want to create new customers. I want to upgrade customers. I want to delete customers. I want to do all things the customer, right? Okay. So my resource is customer. For that, slash.
Is that did I answer correctly? Or was it say like identify the resource?
Yeah, identify resource. The very first step. Okay. So I identify my resource as a customer. So I put a customer over here. Right. Now, I will develop this API and I will give this API to my clients. Right.
Okay.
Right. Why I'm developing this API? I provide this API to the client so that client can use this API, right?
That's right.
Then client want to create a new customer. Then what method you use to create a new customer?
Post.
Exactly. Put the post method. Put select the post over here. Right.
So that backslash is a comment or is it?
It's a
is a RAML.
It is syntax. We need to put for resource. We need to put slash.
Okay.
This is an indication that this
so
is
every resource has to have a backslash.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or forward slash. Then the resource name.
Resource name and the colon at the end.
Yeah.
This is a resource definition.
Okay.
Now see, I put post over here. What I did, what is the reason I need to post here is?
Because you want to create something.
Create. Now, post is a child of the customer. Child means see. You can see some space over here, right? Some tab over here from here to here. So this indicates that this post is a child of the customer. Means this post is apply on the customer resource.
Yeah.
It should not be like this. This is not valid case.
So is that like a one tab or two tab?
One tab.
One tab.
Okay. So the method should be child of the resource.
Resource, yeah.
How you indicate the child means you need to put a tab over here. Then it indicates that, okay, this is post is we are applying on the customers, right?
Mm.
In the same YAML file, you can have multiple resources. For example, yeah, in the YAML file, I'm creating customers and I'm creating accounts also, for example. So to define accounts, I'm creating one more resource here, slash accounts. This is a different resource, right? So in this API spec, there are two resources. One customer resource is there and account resource is there, right? And to create an customer, I use a post method. And to retrieve a customer, what method we need to use? Get method. So now you see, get and post are siblings. They are the same level.
Yeah.
Right? To update a customer, what method we need to use?
Put
method.
Well, you can even click it. It's clickable, huh?
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's clickable. Now, to retrieve accounts, what's the method? I want to retrieve the accounts. What's the method I need to use?
Retrieve.
Get method.
Yeah.
Right. So likewise, we will apply methods on the resources.
Yeah.
Right. Now, then we go to the second step. The client who is using this resource want to create a new customer, right? Yeah. Then using a post method. Then the post method, he will send the customer information in a body section. Put the body over, right? Yeah. Post has body, and that body has. And the body might be a JSON or XML. Usually we use the JSON or XML, whatever the content, right? Okay. Now here, if you observe this snippet, these 4 lines, right? Focus on the 4 lines. What the 4 lines indicates? There is a customer resource is there. The resource and HTTP method post means this is used to create a new customer. Yeah. And the client can post the body customer information, the body. In what format? The client post in the JSON. Yeah. Okay. And we want to define, you can define some examples also how the customer is look like. This is the example section. Example, maybe the customer look like this. Name. Some customer information. Yeah. You can put any parameters, whatever, right? Now this snippet, see, this should be mandatory. See, you should not put all these lines in the same line. See, the customer for the resource, post the child, for post, body is the child, and for body, this indication, right? Application mime is the child, an example is child of this application JSON. And this type of hierarchical structure means parent, child, and relationship. This type of defining things in this manner. This is called YAML. YAML, YAML, yet another modeling language, YAML.
So the hierarchical YAML or the the language
it is called language, but it's very, very simple. Just if you're describing something in a hierarchical manner, that is called YAML. Okay, it's not a language. It's simple. It's language means you will confuse a lot. Maybe some syntax. Nothing is there. Just you defining something in a parent-child relationship over here, like this. Putting some space, putting some space here. The space itself indicates that this is the child of this is the parent, right? So that is called YAML.
That's weird. So can you clarify for me?
Yeah, sure.
And so YAML versus YAML.
Yeah,
so
YAML. Yeah.
So YAML versus YAML.
Yeah.
The
Ramel,
language you design in API in MuleSoft called RAML.
correct.
But
Ramel, yeah,
but inside the RAML,
yeah,
the hierarchy or structure, how you structure the RAML
it's called YAML.
and
Yeah,
API specification
exactly. Yeah,
is YAML.
YAML, exactly. Your understanding is 100% correct.
Wow.
Yeah, got it. So Ramel follows the YAML standard. YAML standard means just
I like that. I like how you put it. You say YAML follows.
yeah. YAML stands for YAML. Sorry. YAML. Yet another
More.
yeah,
Let me see.
YAML means yet another modeling language, but it's very simple. Nothing is there in the YAML. Just you're describing the data in a hierarchical structure.
Okay.
Okay, that's you're putting some space between child and parent, something like this. I explained, right? This is the YAML structure.
Yeah.
Okay, YAML follows the YAML structure.
Okay.
Right. See, if you see over here, the customers is the resource, and I define three methods: post method, get method, and put method.
Okay.
Okay, let me design a get method also. For get method, get doesn't have body. Actually, get means simply what you want to retrieve information from the client.
Right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
from the server.
Yeah.
So in that case, I won't send anybody. As a client, I won't send anybody to the service, right?
Mm.
So get as a child is response, because get expects a response from the server, right? There are some HTTP codes are there. Okay, 200 is a success code and 400 are failure code, something like that. Assume the success manner, first happy path. If this 200, that response has a body, and that body is a JSON format. Might be it looks like this. Two customers, customer one, customer two.
Oh, I see. Example.
So it's very strictly. Therefore,
Yeah.
if you're not following that one, somewhere I do something. It's good. Still syntax is complaining. Okay, then now it should be,
Yeah.
under this one. I put the same level, right? It won't accept that.
That's right.
Okay, now, okay, I don't put a
That
put
looks good.
method. I did a simple API, right? So this API has the two methods. One is to create a new customers, and other is to retrieve a customer. And sometimes, right? See, the post create a new customer and get retrieves all the customers in the application. Now, you want to see a specific customer. You don't want to see all the customers. I want to see a specific customer for Hamoud from the system, right? A very single customer. For that, I need to pass some unique identification of the Hamoud, like a Hamoud ID or Hamoud name or whatever, something, right?
Yeah.
So for that, I need to declare something called sub resource. sub resource I declare inside the main resource, customer slash and customer ID. Customer ID. This thing I put in the bracket. See customer slash customer ID. Customer ID I am wrapping inside curly braces. Right?
So it's like a URI primary.
Yeah. Means at runtime I will pass the customer ID. If you want to know the information about the Ganesh, I will pass the Ganesh ID.
I see.
Right? If you want to know information on Hamood, I will pass Hamood ID, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that one. Here I can't, I will apply something called get method to get the information about the Hamood. Body, JSON, sometimes it have slangs. So don't worry. Nothing wrong. It use long spaces, but should not be in the same level. You can't, you can put an example, or example is not mandatory always. Okay, you can have commit also.
Is that right? So all the examples you use in, it's not required, but it's good to have it.
Yeah, good to have. That's it.
So you're telling the API this is how the example of the data will look like.
Yeah, I'll show you that one. That what is the advantage of putting examples? I can show you now. I can put a simple. Okay. All right. Now, it's a very simple API designed for customers. Right. Actually, customers using customer object, right? The real-time data object. I need to declare some objects somewhere. I will in the next session. I will show you how to declare data type, customer data type. Here I am putting everything example. Okay, it's not a standard. We won't use this standard by developing the real-time APIs. Okay, but as of a very simple thing, to simplify this API definition, I put in the examples. Right. So what happens? Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, so you have two methods inside the customers.
Two customers. Yeah.
No, like under customers resource.
Yeah.
You have two methods: one post and one get, and they're inside the customers. And you have another. So this is also under customer, the customer ID.
Yeah, the customer, but it is sub resource. You can't see that it's a sub resource.
But it's inside. It is inside of customer's resource.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, correct. Inside the customer. Therefore, you see over here the URL paths look like this.
Okay.
Customer slash customer.
Oh yeah, I see now.
Okay. Now you want to update a new update some customer. You need to put method over here, not there.
Yeah.
Put method means you are passing the customer. I want to update this specific customer, right? Put as the body JSON. This time not putting the example. This one also. Now this API, there are two methods on the main resource and two methods on the sub resource, right? Okay. Now, why MuleSoft advocates design the API? Something called API first approach. They use a design called API first approach. Sorry, design first approach. Okay. So what happens is actually when you design the API, in earlier days, they will develop the API first without any designing. Maybe they implement the API, they develop the API. If they develop the API, what happens is we got the requirements. They design the API. they develop the API. After developing the API, they showcase to the client.
Sure. Sure.
Right? They demonstrate to the client. And at this point, what happens is client has a different kind of expectations on the requirements, but our IT team understands a different manner and they develop the application different manner. The moment when you are showcasing to the client got surprised. I didn't expect in this manner. I have some different expectations, but you design different thing. I don't want that. I want to, different way.
Designed.
Right? So at this point, we put lot of time and efforts. Our development team put some considerable amount of time and efforts in develop the API. What happens? All our times and effort got wasted. We need to develop again, right? So instead of that, before developing itself, we design the API. If there is an option to showcase your API at this point itself, the design point itself, right? You showcase to the API to the design point itself, the customer, and customer gives some kind of points. Customer gives feedback. Based on that, you refine the API design again, and you refine the design again multiple times. And at some point of time, you and customer on the same page, right?
Yeah.
So you refine the APIs multiple times, and that is agreed by the customer. And at that moment, you start the development. After that, once you and your customer same page, then you start the development. So if you follow this kind of approach, right, then you can save a lot of time and effort. Because at the development point, customer IT team put a lot of time and effort. Means after that, you want to change something, it is very costly, very expensive, right? Before design, it's very less expensive. You can change anytime. The design very easily rather than the development, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So any point use this kind of feature to showcase your design to the customer. That is called a mocking feature. Mock. Yeah, it mock as a developed application. Okay. So now I design the API here, right? So you are my customer. I want to showcase you this application to a customer.
Okay.
Right? What I'm doing, hey Hamoud, I developed a customer API to you. Let me show you this application. This is what you need to send. This is what we will send back to you. Like that, I'm mocking configuration.
Mocking service configuration.
And here, one moment.
Do you have to save this?
Yeah, which one?
Like all this stuff that you did, do you have to save it?
Yeah, it's already saved.
It's automatic saved.
Automatically saved.
Okay. Cloud, yeah.
In the cloud. It uses the copy of the cloud URL.
So go back. Can you go back one more time? How do you get here?
Yeah, this one. If you mark this configuration, right?
So you click that.
With this one, it use something link over here. Click that link.
Service.
Yeah, copy
settings.
Okay.
Yeah,
settings. Copy the URL. Okay, copy and go to the client like Postman. And now I want to get the used to get the resource. What is the resource we are using? Customers. Right? Customer resource. Send it. Returns this one. Right. So I can show you Hamoud. This is the customer API.
Wow.
So for get method, all the customers got
so this one is reading the API design.
API design, yeah.
The customer API design.
Yeah.
So how does it know that? So this one, okay. It's not local right now. We're saying the endpoint.
Yeah.
We say endpoint to MuleSoft.
Yeah.
And it has that link. It has that program.
I can share you that link to you also. You can also try it out. Okay. I ping you in the chat.
Okay. I can do that. I can try that.
Yeah, you can try it out. One moment. Let me grab some water. I'm feeling a little thirsty.
Sure. customers. So. Was it get? I think it was get. Yeah. I got it. This is weird. Right. So you create the API. So you create the API and
I'm
you
sorry,
create it.
I'm not there. I just came. I went to get some water. Yeah, no tell me.
Yeah. So I was able to I do the get method and I see what you see, that there are two objects, right?
Yeah.
And for customer name information.
Now, I want to get some customer Hamud. For that, I'm passing something like some XYZ, someone 12. I click on that.
It doesn't exist.
It is going some which one 200, okay, but it's not returning anything. But we have a resource, right? Let me see the API one. So customer ID get it should return this example. How more than this thing, how more than we are customer / customer ID, right? Customer / customer ID. I'll check it out. Why it is not?
We don't have the ID.
Any we will pass anything, it has to return that thing. Because the customer ID runtime will pass, right? So it matches this thing. It has to return this example, but some way it's not returning. Customer ID. Get method. This get has a body. It's not a body.
Yeah.
It is a response.
Response. I was gonna say that to you, but then I say it might be different.
Yeah.
I noticed this, that you had a body. Then I said maybe when you're retrieving one person, you need a body.
That's nice. Body is only for post methods.
Okay. Yeah, you did say that. Sorry.
No problem. So, yeah, that's it. Now if you save in a moment, star is not saved. Once per is saved automatically for some time. Yeah,
it's returning right now.
I'm getting right. See. If you pass something of a customer, it takes an ID and returns some this one. Right. So this is not an actual working one. This is just marking as an this mark means as a working, as we will mark it so that you can demonstrate your this payloads to your customer. Yeah, this is what you need to pass. This is what you get. So you and your customer, right? They get the same page on the payloads, what information the customer is passing and what information it is the customer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then everything is good. Then we start the development. Yes. Yeah. So this is the marking feature, right? And now
is it how long does it? And what I'm saying, what's the lifetime of this marking? Is it only for temporary, or it's gonna be there for a
while? This account, you create an account, right, in any point platform.
Yeah.
The account, you can use the account for 1 month actually.
Okay. So, but when you have a marking and link like this, how long is it gonna be valid?
Yeah, till the account valid. So ours is a free account, right? So our free account will valid for 1 month. So till 1 month, the marking feature will valid. But
but if you have like a permanent environment, that could be permanent, until you retire, right? It will be available.
If you take an enterprise license of any point platform, right?
Yeah.
So you design an API on the enterprise license, you can mark it. That will be available till permanently. But if we develop these APIs using our temporary accounts, right? So it's for 1 month only, something like that. Okay.
So let me make sure I'm connecting all the dots. When you have a requirement to work on a project,
okay,
you will design this.
Right.
You will design the API.
Right.
So for example, like I don't know, they will tell you, for example, this is the the web service that you need to hit.
Right.
And this is the information you need to get from that resources.
Yeah.
Then you design the API according to that information.
Correct.
And when you able to retrieve the information that you want based on the examples or based on the design you create,
Yeah.
then you create a temporary link or mark. We call a
marking,
marking, and
yeah.
And you show the customers and say that
Yeah.
Is this is working? Is this how you want it?
Exactly.
So far you using either MuleSoft or the post or something that shows them an XML and format or JSON format.
Whatever, yeah.
So the customers you're dealing with, they must know. They must know like how to use like a Postman, or they have to use some kind of
yeah.
That's expected.
Yeah, the customer has to because this is a HTTP application, right?
Yeah.
So the customer has, if any specific HTTP application, okay, you can test using his application. For generic clients like Postman or ARC or something, some HTTP client applications are there.
Yeah.
So using that, we demonstrate to the customer. Yeah.
So they need to be familiar with that. They need to know that.
Yes.
Otherwise,
yeah.
Because I don't know. I'm new to this, but a lot of customers, they like the, for example, like
GUI, right?
Was that?
GUI on the UI.
Yeah, they may have a better GUI, like a website or something.
Yeah, but here actually the communication between customer IT team and the development team IT team. Yeah. So usually this kind of discussion happens between IT teams.
Between IT teams, all right.
Yeah.
So I see now, even if I paste the the marker, the marking URL, if I paste that in a normal URL, it shows that the XML and output.
XML output on the Chrome you are saying?
Yeah, I'm using Chrome and I can see now.
In the Chrome.
Yeah, I get the XML. Yeah.
JSON.
No, JSON format.
JSON.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Now. The API we designed is very a simple one.
Yeah.
We discussed about little more about API best practices and design all the stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one, right? So you design the API and you want to implement the API. You want to give some kind of here design is simply a document. It is nothing working copy of the thing, right? You want to develop some working copy of this API.
Yeah, it's just template, right?
Yeah, it's simple template, right? So if you
but
want
I can see that.
Yeah.
At the beginning you might need to create this, but I can see that the more you do it, you may have a template that you can use to to configure, to design the API much faster than like going tab and picking up all the. Do you think that makes sense, where you may have a template that's you can use?
Yeah, that templates we're going to develop as part of the API design itself. The templates is called resource types and traits, the little advanced API development.
Okay.
Yeah.
Within the mules,
Within the ramel, yeah.
within the ramel, yeah. All right.
Ramel. Now this is very simple, very first session, right? I like to explain in a very simple manner.
I know.
I explained this one.
I know.
We can develop templates also. Okay.
That's good. I think, but I like the first. Like you doing. I like to learn from the foundation and then build on that.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to my Anypoint Studio over here. My intention is I want to do some working copy of the customer API. Okay. So I'm creating a new project, new project, and I'm giving it as a customer API implementation. Somewhere I do maybe already existing which is named Jennifer is different customer API IMPL1. Now the ramel in the design center, right? Download ramel to the design center. I said this tab.
Okay.
And I need to do my credentials. I click on this one location and ask my Anypoint platform credentials. Now it will show up all the APIs present in my design center. Okay. So I want to create implementation to the customer API. So I'm setting customer API. Okay. Finish. So it will create a project that implements the customer API. Okay. See, I create a project called customer API IMPL1, and if you see this project, if you observe this project, right, this is called main flow, this is called router flow, main flow. This is called API kit router. I will explain what is API kit router. If you see the API you designed, how many resources are there? There's only one resource, customer resource.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the customer resource, how many methods are there? There are two methods.
Two, is it? Is there one more? Yeah, two, yeah.
Two methods.
And the other one was the ID, okay.
One more sub resource are there.
Yeah.
On that we have one method. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
One method, two methods. There is two methods are there.
Two methods there.
Right? So as per the API, you need to provide implementation for the 4 methods. One method is to create an API, to create a customer. And second method to retrieve a customer from the backend, and to get a specific customer and to update a specific customer. There are 4 implementations you need to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you see the Anypoint Studio, the project we created. The project we created now. See, there is one flow over here, and flow number 2, flow number 3, and flow number 4. The 4 flows are here, right? Okay.
So each method.
Exactly. Each method
has a flow.
Okay. Now, from the postman, I want to retrieve a customer. Okay. Let me put over here from the postman. From the postman, this is the postman. Okay. I want to create a new customer. For example, the client. Postman I called the client. And the endpoint design center. Let me go to design center. This is the sequence design part. Creation. Post to customer. The flow part. We're gonna implement it. Right? So what happens is from the custom, from the postman,
Mhm.
use the post method and you send some customer information.
Yeah.
Right? Use the post method and you
Mhm.
sending some customer information, the body. The corresponding, the implementation lies over here actually in the, in the mule flow. Here you write what happens, what to do when post method, the implementation. You want to store in the into the backend, you create something database component over here,
Okay.
and that will store to the backend. Before
Oh, I
that, the
see.
database and table will be there over here, the customer table. Customer, it will add, say, takes this customer, JSON
Mhm.
and adds a record over here. New record in the database.
Yeah.
That's a post
So,
method, right?
all right. So one second, I'm sure I understand.
Yeah.
So the client posts a message using like a RAML specification,
Yeah.
and then the RAML passes the information to the Mule, and that REST API, I don't know. So it was a RAML, and now it became a Mule event.
It's
Right.
not like that. This mule flow is created based on the RAML.
Okay.
So it seems a little confusing. I put RAML snippet over there, but this snippet created based on the RAML. Okay. So it won't call this one and this one will call this. That's not the manner. This is a design part, and for this design, this is the implementation part. But in the runtime, client will call directly the implementation part. The design is not in the picture. This arrow is not at all valid. I'm sorry for confusing you. Just I want to explain something like in a different manner. What is not? It's not going. Eraser is not working. Okay. That is.
That's okay. So
Yeah. So a client will directly call the implementation, Hamud.
Yeah.
Okay, but this implementation is created on the base of this design. That's what
right.
I want to say.
That's right.
Okay. So it is a dummy implementation, but we need to create an implementation now. Actually, it creates a dummy implementation.
Yeah.
So the project is created on some dummy implementation, but as we are developers, we need to put actual implementation over here. So what you want to do when posting in the post where we are creating a customer, you want to save the information to a file system, or you want
so
to
from
save
here,
database?
so Ganesh, from here, this is the post method.
Yeah.
The one on the top of it is the get method.
Yeah.
And the other sub programs or like ID stuff.
Yeah. So if what I'm doing this now, I'm deploying this application. Okay. So I'm not at all implementing anything, but I'm deploying application. Simply deploying application.
Well, that's a customer ID.
It takes a bit of time for initial deployment. So if I deploy this application, slicing phase, the next phase is starting phase.
Yep, deployed.
Right. Now, deployed, in that case, I need to put localhost over here because
I see.
I'm not no more invoking the marking URL.
And you saying good.
Yes. Right.
Sending.
Something. Strange. What port and what method it is. Acha. So something like API or in the path it gets an API. See,
API, yeah.
The port is only 8081 itself.
881.
Yes, not HTTPS. It's HTTP.
Yeah. Now it should work. Yeah.
Right. So now, see from the postman, I directly hitting the implementation.
Yeah.
Right. The call is not going to the design center. Design center based on the design, this project got created actually. That's what I want to say. Okay. Now the question people will ask in the certification is, how many flows will get created for this API? They will give the API RAML file and they will ask the RAML file give like this. For this design, how many mule flows will get in the project if you create a project based on the API? So the answer is, for each method, for each resource and method combination. See, customer is the resource and post method. For this combination, one flow will be created. And for customer get, one flow will be created, means two flows.
Okay.
And for this resource combination, customer ID and get, there is one flow created. And put and the
That's
customer ID.
3.
Total 4 flows will be created for this RAML. Okay. And for each resource and method combination, one flow will be created. On that flow, we need to implement actual implementation, what we want to do, how you want to retrieve information from the backend, what you are storing in the database or storing in the file system, storing the FTP server, where you are storing customer data. From that.
All right. So Ganesh, the bottom one is the post, right?
Yeah.
The second one is the get customers. Can you go up, scroll up? And I want to see the other ones. How do they look like? Well, you get put, yeah.
Put C
customer and we have a
customer ID.
And we have another customer ID get.
Yeah. This is get for customers.
Okay.
Get on the customer resource. This is put on the customer / customer ID. And third one is get on the customers. On customer ID.
So we got 4.
And it's a post on the customers.
So right here then, which one is the main flow or?
This is the main flow actually. This one is every request will come over here only. This is only one resource here, right?
Okay. Yeah.
One listener is there. No, as these are flows, but there are no listener configured. The source is empty. Always the request lands over here. Okay, from the postman, what is localhost 8081/API, right? See,
Yeah.
if you see this listener, path is API and
Okay.
localhost 8081. So the request comes and lands at this point. Then go to router.
Yeah.
Router.
But
yeah.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, I think you get into that, but there are more other stuff in this page than the four, and yeah, like those ones. I'm not sure what.
Yeah, this one we will explain. I'll explain later.
Okay, that's fine.
We discuss about error handling. That moment I will tell you what is on error propagate, all the stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry on that. It is understandable. Easy only. Now try to understand how router routes the request to a specific flow.
Okay.
So if my request is like this, the method is get,
yeah,
and the resource is customers.
Yeah.
Okay. So localhost 8081 API. This is the URL the listener receives. Actually, this is localhost 8081 API, right? Okay. Afterwards, what URL I am requesting? Customers I am requesting. The method is get.
Yeah.
So it routes to the flow that is matching customer and get. So here, for that, this is the method. This is the flow that use a get method and customers.
Okay.
Right. So control comes over here. Therefore, here, okay, this don't worry. Whatever you defined over, that's come back to our client. I'll show you that's what. Okay. Is it complicated, Hamul?
No. Now I'm
right?
now I'm now I'm understanding. So all right. The first one is gonna route to.
If I put like this one.
Yeah.
Over here, and this one point to this flow.
Yeah, because Postman, we ask to get it. We didn't say to post it. We didn't say to put it, right? We say get.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna route you to the get and get method.
Exactly. If I put the post,
it's gonna take you the post.
Post method, right?
Yeah,
post.
Got it.
This one will invoke, this call will invoke this flow.
Yeah.
Post like this. And the flow that waiting to invoke the post method for this flow.
Yeah.
You put some loggers and then also you can test is control coming over here or not.
Yeah.
So call will land at this flow. So now the client is customer. This can send a body, the customer information, and we can create the customer on the back end, right? The application can take the customer information and put the back end.
Yeah.
You can modify it, you can delete all the operations I can do, right, as a customer. But what's the implement of importance of this API? And this is very basic thing. Going forward, we're going to discuss a little bit advanced concept of the API design. Hope this got some idea about the API, the REST API, the resource.
Yeah, this is really good. It's really good because like we designed the API, we test it, we mark it, then we implement it.
Yeah, implement it.
And then you can
test it. Yeah.
Retrieve it in a Mule and like in a Mule, what do you call that? Studio or something? Exactly. Endpoint Studio. Then you import. Yeah. When you deploy, you import in Endpoint Studio where you can do more like transformation or more parsing. I don't know. So at the end of the day is that when you download it or move it to the other Endpoint Studio, you will do something with the message and then either store it somewhere or do something or whatever that customer wants.
Correct.
So that's a high level. That's
Yeah.
like high level process, right?
Right, exactly.
How API design or API through MuleSoft works.
Exactly. Now we send this thing, right? So now what happens? HTTP request go to the Mule, and it takes the Mule request and
Yeah,
transforms to HTTP request and transform Mule event. That will all that happens over here. That's the story we discussed yesterday.
yeah,
Okay. So this is a basic fundamental on API design and API implementation,
that's nice.
right? So now coming to what we will discuss is yesterday session. This is a debug process. Okay. So debug process is very important thing while in the developing process. So what I want to do is I want to put some logger in the post method. I want to put one more logger. So in the logger I am putting as post method. New employee. Something I'm putting the new employee. And creating some variable. So I want to debug my application. You know debugging, right? Debugging means
Yeah, like testing or
you want to
something.
walk through the application flow, how your application is executing.
Yeah,
Some you got an error. The debug is very important to trace the error. At what point the application is erroring out, so that you want to identify, right? For the purpose with the debug. Got it. So the debug, we need to put something like breakpoint. Means at what point you want to, from what point onwards you want to walk through your application. That is your breakpoint. Okay. So here what I'm doing is I'm creating one more variable over here for simplicity. Variable here is some logger I'm putting, not a variable. I'm putting some logger over here. Simple some static test in the customer API and in the customer. So I'm putting a breakpoint over here. The breakpoint is right click over any component and add breakpoint. Okay, to add some dot in the corner.
yeah.
Right, this is a breakpoint. Now I'm starting my Mule application in debug mode. So hope currently is running on the run mode. Stop it and right click here, debug project, right? Select the debug. So the project will deploy in a debug mode. Now I'm hitting my request. So if I hit right, what happens? The control is stuck over here at this point. See, you see this one got highlighted, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can see at this point what is the payload, what are the variables, what are the attributes, all things you can see at this point. So at this variables matches with
Oh.
so let it come down. So now payload, we are not sending any payload. The payload is empty because the body is empty. Actually, we are not sending anything.
Okay.
Right? So body is empty, therefore the payload is empty. You could have some something. Now variables are also 0. There are no variables created. Okay. Now we see the attributes in the headers. Are you sending the attributes? Let me see. Are we sending the attributes in the postman? There are no headers we are sending, right? There are no query parameters we are sending. So attributes are also empty because we are not sending anything. Yes, if you send, I can show you that. Okay, I will shadow this thing. I can do one thing. Let me send some information. Body. JSON. I'm sending some header parameters, I'm sending query parameters, I'm sending body, right? Okay. So I'm posting this thing. Now at this moment, if you see, the payload is name Mary, right? This is the payload you're sending, right? Okay. It's a payload. Yep. And what are the attributes you're sending? Headers, you see the headers. Technology is called MuleSoft. This is one header we are sending, right? Yeah. The query parameters. Query param, on query param we are sending, that is called city is equal to New York. All right, we can see. Now I am moving little further. If you press F6 or you can press this one, next processor, it comes over here. Okay. I press F6 again. See, the control go to the post method, post customers.
Because we sent them.
How it goes to post customer? Because we are using post method. Yeah. And the resource is customers. Therefore, it goes over here, right? And I press F6 again, goes to variable, and press F6 again. See, now new variable got created. If the variable size is 2 now, see, employee name is equal to Mary. What is this? I don't know, but employee, this is one employee we created, right? But just now, got it. Okay. Now F6 means the flow got executed, completed, and you can see the result in the post method. If I use a get method, right? Get method. Now what happens? See, send it. It come over here. Come over here. Now put F6. The control goes to get customers. See. Yeah. Get customers. The flow is because the request is on the customer objects. We are invoking get method. The corresponding flow got invoked. Right? This will get executed. This got this information, Hamoud, and this information, right? So after execution of this one, the client, you can see that. That's it. Got it. Got it.